My name is Ethan Carter. I'm a journalist. Or at least I was, until that night. Halloween in the city. A night for masks. A night to pretend to be someone else. But I wasn't wearing my mask for fun. I was wearing it for the truth. My target was a private, invitation-only gala, hosted by a group that called themselves Elysian Dynamics, a polished corporate name for what the whispers on the street called it, NXIVM's ghost, the inner circle that never got caught. My source had told me this was their most sacred night, the night of their initiation, and I was going to be the fly on the wall. The event was held in a repurposed art gallery downtown. High ceilings, polished marble floors. The air tasted of expensive champagne and buried secrets. The music was a low, hypnotic, ambient pulse that seemed to get under your skin. At the entrance, a woman with a serene, unnerving smile handed each guest a box. Inside, resting on black velvet, was a mask. Venetian, intricate, beautiful, made of pure, cold white porcelain with delicate silver filigree. Tonight, we shed our social masks, a man on a small stage said, his voice smooth as silk. His name was Jacob Reed, the charismatic leader, a wolf in cashmere. Tonight, he smiled, we find our true face. The champagne was different. It tasted sweet, but left a faint metallic aftertaste. After the first glass, the room began to feel warm. The hypnotic music seemed to turn to syrup. The faces of the other guests, all hidden behind their identical white masks, began to blur at the edges. I was leaning against a pillar, trying to clear my head, trying to focus, when I saw it. A woman across the room. She was laughing at something her partner had said, but her mask wasn't moving. Her mouth, visible beneath the porcelain, was open in a wide, joyous laugh, but the serene, smiling mask remained perfectly, unnervingly still. It looked wrong. And then I saw the thin, black tendrils, like veins, spreading from the edges of the porcelain, branching out over her cheeks, her temples. They weren't decorative. They were growing. The porcelain wasn't resting on her skin. It was fusing with it. My blood turned to ice. I looked around the room, and I saw it everywhere. A man trying to take a drink, but his mask was sealed to his upper lip, the champagne dribbling down his chin. Another woman clawing at her temples, her fingers scraping against porcelain that should have come off, a silent painted scream on her borrowed face. They weren't panicking. Their eyes, visible through the holes, were hazy, unfocused, lost in the drugged haze. They didn't even seem to notice. Jacob Reed was on the stage again. His voice washed over the room, a calm, reassuring poison. The ritual of the true face is about liberation, he purred. For your entire life, you have worn a false self, a face of fear, of doubt, of weakness. It is a cage made of flesh. He gestured to the room, to the smiling, slowly transforming guests. Tonight, we give you a new face, a perfect face, strong, pure, united in a single, clean will. I understood. The ritual wasn't a metaphor. The masks were alive, parasites, and they were erasing their hosts. Panic, cold and absolute, finally broke through the drug's warm fog. I had to get out. I pushed my way through the crowd, a sea of identical, serene white porcelain faces. As I moved, their heads all turned in perfect, silent unison to watch me. Their host bodies were limp, puppets on a string, But the masks were aware. I stumbled towards the exit, towards a large, ornate mirror that hung in the foyer. I was almost there, almost free. My heart was a hammer against my ribs. My skin was slick with cold sweat. I could feel my own mask tight against my face, too tight. It felt warm. I reached the door. My hand was on the handle. And then I made the mistake of looking in the mirror. It wasn't my reflection. Not really. It was me, Ethan Carter, a journalist with short, messy brown hair and terrified eyes. But the mask I was wearing, was breathing. I watched in the mirror, my mind shattering as the smooth white porcelain surface rose and fell with a slow, steady breath that wasn't mine. It was alive. I reached up with trembling hands, my fingers digging at the edges, but it wouldn't budge. It was stuck fast, the edges no longer sharp porcelain, but soft, pliable, merging with my own skin. I stared at my reflection, at the thing on my face. The silver filigree began to pulse with a faint, dark light. The painted, serene smile seemed to widen. And then, from somewhere deep inside my own head, from behind my own teeth, a voice whispered. It was a calm, gentle, reasonable voice, and it knew my deepest, most shameful secret. You came here for the truth, Ethan, but you also came here because you were lonely. You wanted to belong to something, to be chosen, to finally be a part of the inner circle. You just never admitted it to yourself. It's okay, it soothed as I felt the porcelain fuse with my cheekbones. Welcome home. I am writing this. I don't know how. I am in my apartment. I don't know how I got here. The door is locked, but I am not alone. I am still wearing the mask. Or maybe the mask is wearing me.
My husband's name is Brendan. His hands were made of soil and calluses, the hands of a farmer. Strong, honest, real. He was the most grounded man I ever knew, until he went looking for the sky. He called them motivational seminars, a group with a clean, sharp name, Elysian Dynamics, the same polished, empty promise that had once been called NXIVM. I didn't worry at first. I was happy for him. He came back energized, his eyes bright. He started talking about finding his potential, optimizing his purpose. He was attentive. He was passionate. He was better. And then he stopped looking me in the eyes. His gaze was always distant now, fixed on something I couldn't see. Halloween came. The air grew cold, smelling of wood smoke and dying leaves. Brendan didn't bring home a normal pumpkin from our patch. He brought it home. He placed it on our kitchen table like a holy relic. It wasn't a pumpkin. Not really. It was the size and shape of one, a perfect, heavy gourd, but its skin was smooth, pale, and waxy, like the flesh of an infant, with a faint, almost translucent quality, and its surface was covered in symbols. Intricate swirling patterns not carved into the skin, but glowing from within, as if seared into its very pulp with a dark internal light. "It's part of the harvest," he said, his voice flat, emotionless. He said I wasn't ready to understand. Sect nonsense, I thought. A harmless, creepy phase. That's what I told myself. Until that night. I woke up for no reason. The bed beside me was empty. Cold. A faint, rhythmic chanting was drifting from outside, a sound so low it was more a vibration in my bones. Brendan was gone. I threw on a coat, my heart a cold, tight knot of fear. The back door was unlocked, a sin he never committed. I stepped outside into the biting cold, and I followed the sound into the woods behind our farm. The chanting grew louder, a chorus of low, monotonous voices. I crept through the skeletal trees, the dead leaves crunching under my feet, and I saw them. In a small clearing, bathed in the cold, merciless light of a full moon, a dozen figures stood in a perfect circle. They were dressed in simple, dark farmers' clothes, my neighbors, people I'd known my whole life, and each of them was holding one of those pale, glowing pumpkins. As I watched, frozen in the shadows, they began the ritual. In perfect unison, they held the gourds aloft, and with a single sharp motion, they cracked them open against the hard, frozen earth, like sacrificial vessels. But it wasn't seeds and pulp that spilled out. It was flesh, wet, glistening, pulsing tissue, laced with dark, throbbing veins. It wasn't vegetable. It was biological. It was meat. The figures knelt. They spoke to the broken gourds, their voices reverent. They called them empty vessels, dormant souls. They said Elysian Dynamics had given them these fruits to nurture, to plant a piece of their own will inside and let it grow, to replace the doubt, the weakness, the old self. And then I saw Brendan. He stood in the center of the circle, facing away from me. He hadn't broken his gourd. He was holding it in his hands, staring down at it. And as I watched, a single, glistening, dark tendril, thick as my thumb, pushed its way out from a crack in the pale, smooth skin. It was alive. It writhed in the cold air for a moment, questing. And then it moved. It snaked upwards, towards Brendan, towards the back of his neck. A scream, raw and sharp, tore from my throat. "Brendan!" Every head in the circle snapped towards me, but I only saw him. He turned slowly. His face was pale, his eyes wide and completely empty. All the light, all the life I knew was gone. He looked at me, but he didn't see me. And he smiled, a gentle, serene, vacant smile. "We are growing, Olivia," he said, his voice a calm, empty echo of the man I knew. "We are one field now." The tendril touched the back of his neck, and he didn't even flinch. Something in me broke. The fear turned to rage, to a desperate primal need to save him. I still had the heavy metal flashlight I'd grabbed from the kitchen. It felt cold and solid in my hand, a piece of the real world. As I stepped into the clearing, I saw their faces, all of them. Their eyes were all the same, empty, vacant, gone. The thing in Brendan's hands, his new seed, was still connected to him. It was feeding. It was replacing him. And I understood. To save the man I loved, I would have to destroy a part of him, I would have to crush this grotesque, living thing he was nurturing. I raised the flashlight, the heavy metal feeling like the weight of the entire world. Brendan just watched me with that serene, empty smile. He didn't see a wife, he didn't see a threat. He just saw the old world trying to stop the harvest. And in that moment, I knew, even if I succeeded, the man whose hands were made of soil was already gone.
My name is Michael Ross. My hands know the weight of a rifle, the grit of desert sand, the precise, cold geometry of discipline. I served 8 years in the Marine Corps. I thought I understood fear. I was wrong. This isn't about war. This is about Sarah Edmondson, a friend from another lifetime, before the service. She was a painter, full of light and chaotic energy. Then she found NXIVM, or it found her. She started talking about potential, breakthroughs. Her chaotic energy was focused, sharpened. Her light dimmed. Then she vanished. No official report, no worried family, just gone. But she left a breadcrumb trail, a single email sent to me months before with a subject line that made no sense then and chills my blood now. If I'm not back by the harvest, find me in the grove. The trail led me here, to a forgotten tract of forest in upstate New York. The locals don't come here. They call it the Hushing Woods. But the followers of NXIVM's ghost, the true believers who scattered after Raniera's fall, they have another name for it, the Ascension Grove. Tonight is Halloween, the final night of their harvest, the night of their grandest ritual, and I am here to pull Sarah out of the fire. I move through the woods like a ghost. Old training dies hard. The air is cold, heavy with the smell of damp earth and decay, and something else, a faint, coppery scent, like old blood. I hear them before I see them, a low, rhythmic, guttural chant. It's not a song, it's a pulse, the heartbeat of the forest. I see the light through the trees, torches, dozens of them, casting a sick, flickering orange glow. I creep to the edge of the clearing, and I see the ritual. They stand in concentric circles, perhaps 30 of them, men and women. Their faces are pale, ecstatic, smeared with ash. They are swaying in time to the chant, a single breathing organism. In the center of the circle is a massive, ancient oak, its branches twisted like arthritic hands against the night sky. Carved into its trunk are hundreds of symbols, spirals, eyes, lattices, the same symbols that were in the NXIVM handbooks. This is their temple. The leader, a tall, gaunt man with a fanatic's burning eyes, raises his hands and the chanting stops. "The self is a prison," he cries, his voice a raw tear in the silence. "Tonight we break the walls. We become the grove. We become the one." He pulls a young man from the circle. The man kneels, his back arched in ecstasy. The leader produces a knife, not steel, obsidian, black, jagged. "We do not write our names, we carve our vows." He doesn't cut his own skin. He presses the obsidian blade to the back of the kneeling man, and he carves, not a name, a symbol. The kneeling man does not scream, he sighs, a sound of profound, painful release. Blood, black in the torchlight, wells up. and I watch my stomach turning to ice as the blood does not drip to the ground. It is absorbed into his skin, leaving behind a raised, red, angry scar in the shape of the symbol, a brand made of flesh. And then I see her. They lead Sarah to the center of the circle. She is pale, thin. Her eyes, once full of fire, are wide and vacant. She is wearing a simple white shift. They make her kneel. Her hands are trembling. She is not in a trance like the others. She is terrified, but she does not resist. The leader approaches her, the obsidian knife held like a sacrament. "This one is special," he says to the circle. "Her doubt is strong. Her harvest will feed us all." He raises the knife. It glints in the torchlight, aimed at the pale, exposed skin of her back. And in that moment, the Marine in me took over. The observer died. The operator was born. I moved, fast, silent. I was halfway across the clearing before they even knew I was there. I grabbed Sarah, pulling her to her feet. I put myself between her and the leader, my body a shield. But when I touched her, something happened. The wind, which had been still, gusted through the clearing, making the torches flare. And on the wind, a whisper. My name. Michael. It wasn't one of them. It was the forest itself. The rustling leaves, the groaning branches, the very air. It knew me. And I felt it inside my head. A call, a pull, not a voice, not a thought, a deep, primal, biological yearning. To kneel, to offer my back, to let them carve me, to join, to belong. I fought it. I gritted my teeth. The training, the discipline, my only anchor in a sea of supernatural desire. I dragged Sarah away from the circle, away from the chanting that had started again, louder now, angrier. We ran. Branches whipped at my face. Thorns tore at my clothes. Behind us I could hear them crashing through the woods, but they were not trying to catch us. They were laughing. We broke free from the forest, stumbling onto a dirt road, collapsing to our knees, gasping in the cold, clean air. We were safe. We were out. Or so I thought. Sarah was looking at me. The vacant look in her eyes was gone, replaced by a new, more profound terror. "We're still there, Michael," she whispered, her voice trembling. "We never left the grove." I didn't understand. I looked around. The road was real. The moon was real. "Sarah, we're out. We're safe." "No," she said, her eyes wide with a terror I couldn't comprehend. She pointed, a trembling finger, not at the woods, at the ground, at the dirt road beneath us. And I saw it. The earth, the soil, the dead leaves, the gravel, was moving, subtly, rhythmically. It was rising and falling, as if we were standing on the chest of a vast, sleeping creature, as if the entire forest was breathing.